Fox 50 welcomes you to WakeMed Soccer Park Salem Stadium for USL Championship action. North Carolina FC 8-2-6 welcome their rivals from Charlotte, the Independents, at 3-7-7. And happy 4th of July to each and every one of you. I'm Dean Linke, delighted to be with former defender from Virginia Tech, Morgan Conklin, and NCFC comes in red hot.
Yeah, it's a great time for them to be at home, a place that they're undefeated so far this year, also on a 7-game unbeaten run, which has then put them into 4th place in the Eastern Conference. So a really good place for North Carolina FC to be right now as they welcome in Charlotte, who's kind of been a little bit up and down.
Morgan, NCFC led by a silent assassin in the back, Aaron Guillen.
Yeah, and I don't think most people are used to hearing his name and then leading because, like you said, a bit of a quieter player, just got his first assist the other night against Nashville. Left back sliding in for Kamsia, who is out at center back, so he'll be playing in that left center back role, and they'll be asking a lot from him tonight.
Two former players that played for this club, the Martinez brothers, star for Charlotte.
Yeah, and they're two big names when it comes to Charlotte Independence, Alex and Enzo Martinez, both of which the two of them have been really offensive, helping out their team on the offensive side with assists. 9 assists between the two of them, but usually we see more of that from Alex, and Enzo's more of the goal scorer. Not as much production from him in that sense, but two players, you have to know where they are. Very technical, very passionate. It's easy to take them out of the game if it's not going their way, but fiery players, and it's going to be fun to see them tonight.
Now, as we go to break, we'll see the black armbands being worn tonight to honor the sudden passing of our dear friend Charlie Slagle, the NC Soccer Hall of Famer, former CEO of Castle, legendary head coach of Davidson, and a tireless promoter of this game we love. Charlie Slagle, he was 67. We will miss you, Charlie. Rest in peace.
At Coastal Credit Union, we offer financial services, but we're not a bank, and that's a good thing. Here's why. Banks answer to Wall Street. At Coastal, we're owned by our members. That means we answer to you. Banks charge their customers inflated, unnecessary fees to increase their profits. We actually share our profits with our members through higher dividends, better rates, and lower fees. Find out more about how we're different than banks and how we work harder for you and your money at bankbetter.org.
I'm here with a few of my best friends, the pediatric specialists at WakeMed Children's. There's a whole bunch of them: pediatric surgery, cardiology, orthopedics, ENT. The list of specialties goes on. And everyone is like pediatric trained. Special care, special people makes me feel pretty special. WakeMed Children's, your children's hospital, and a whole lot more.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Welcome back to WakeMed Soccer Park, Salem Stadium here on Fox 50, North Carolina FC and Charlotte Independence. Alongside Morgan Conklin, I'm Dean Linke. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Let's get right to the starting lineups. First for your home team, North Carolina FC. They'll play a 4-1-4-1.
And we mentioned it in the open, but there's no Alex Kamsia. He is out tonight, so that means that Guillen slides into that left center back position. You bring in Caleb Duvernay, gets his 4th start of the year. He'll be playing that left back role. Keep an eye on Dre Fortune. It's his birthday tonight. We saw him have a really strong game a couple weeks ago, along with Yamakani Chester, who's back in the starting lineup. So watch those two guys. I want to see Chester create out wide and Fortune, such a solid player in the middle of the field with speeds.
That's the starting lineup for North Carolina FC. And the starting lineup for our visitors from Charlotte, the Independents.
And we just see 2 changes for them from the last game. You see Kevon George stepping in the midfield, and then Jackson starting up top. No Herrera tonight in the starting lineup for them. He is available off the bench. Obviously, Jorge Herrera brings that veteran experience, really good finisher. But like we said in the open, keep an eye on that left side for Enzo Martinez and Alex. Enzo will be a little bit more free on the field. Alex will stay wider. Watch the way they create. I want to see if Enzo can maybe step up his goal-scoring ability just because he only has 1 goal on the year.
It's the starting lineup for the Independents. Mike Jeffries, the head coach of Charlotte, as we honor the aforementioned Charlie Slagle. Yeah, we lost a good one in Charlie Slagle. In fact, as you look around WakeMed Soccer Park, Salem Stadium, particularly the upper stands over there, Charlie Slagle played a big role in previously named Castle, switched to NCFC Youth. There's Dave Sarakin. What a job he's done for North Carolina FC. He's got his team sitting squarely in 4th place with a chance to climb the ladder with 3 more points tonight. Dave Sarakin has done an amazing job in his first year for North Carolina FC.
I mean, there's so many things you could talk about so far, but just on the current run that they're on, 7 games unbeaten, undefeated at home. For a team to be that strong, you always talk about kind of defending the house and just owning where you call home on the field, but it is so important for a team to just really take hold of that. And it's also a bit intimidating for an away team to come in knowing they're facing an opponent that is so strong, has not lost at home. And you're seeing a Charlotte team who hasn't won on the road. So this is a matchup just kind of looking at that aspect. It looks like NCFC may have it in the bag.
Great to be with you on Fox 50 tonight. The North Carolina FC in their home blues, the Charlotte Independents in their visiting whites, and we are underway on this 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to all of you as Alex Martinez gets his first touch. Expecting to see a 4-4-2 for the Charlotte Independents with a bit of a diamond in the middle with Enzo Martinez tipping that diamond toward the attacking end. Here's Joel Johnson, who has played a lot of games here as well. This will bounce off of North Carolina FC and go out of bounds.
And just one thing to watch with the shape of the Charlotte team, it won't look as obvious, their line, the way that they're in their lines, it won't, because they get their outside backs high, especially Johnson on that right side. Like I mentioned, Enzo Martinez floats a little bit more in that midfield, as well as Alex Martinez. He's actually on the right now, but he's kind of going to be all over, just playing that creative player. So we say, yes, they're in this formation. You can see it more defensively now, but when they're on the attacking end, you really won't see that shape because they just get very expansive.
So here's Brotherton as they decided to push Guillen to right center back. Brotherton will play left center back, Duvernay at left back as they bring it up top to Donovan Iwolo. Dave Sarakin could not say enough about the work rate of this young man, particularly back to goal. The job he has done up top with just 1 striker has been phenomenal as Marios Lomas is out with what we think will be a season-ending injury. Christo's coming back from an injury, and Iwolo's been solid. Here's Chester over trying to find Iwolo. Knocked away there by the Independents. Chester was supposed to start against Nashville, but got food poisoning earlier in the day and did not play. Austin Poncho started the game in his place. Here's DJ Taylor. Now Fortune trying to find Ben Spees, who had the game winner against Nashville to keep North Carolina FC unbeaten here at home and a streak of 7 games in a row unbeaten. Weather a question mark as always this time of the year. Hot and muggy, and usually when it starts to cool down, that does not mean good things, Morgan.
Yeah, you have to pick your poison. Do we want it cooler and maybe have a weather delay, or?
Good job by Iwolo. It's still loose in front and knocked in by Chester. And how about North Carolina FC? Knocked loose. Chester stayed with it, and he makes it 1-0.
Charlotte was put under pressure early on from this NCFC team, and that's just very poor defending, not staying with your mark. Duvernay sends this one across, keeper gets caught out, and nobody sees Chester. The ball's coming down, trying to find where it's going is Thietschat, and then it just slides to that back post. That is poor defending. They don't see where the ball's coming, and that's probably one of the easiest goals that Chester's gonna be able to poke in.
Big smile from Chester. He's quickly become a fan favorite, much like the former number 11, T. Shipalani. Chester is fun to watch. A lot of times he'll put his head down and attack on his own. This time you got to give Iwolo a lot of credit as well. North Carolina FC sticking with it. And then, as you said, not great marking there by Charlotte, and an early lead here for North Carolina FC.
There's 3 players, obviously, that get credit. Chester for putting that one in, but Duvernay for getting his head up and hitting that one across, and like you said, Iwolo for getting to that near post, and he's the one that pulled the goalkeeper out.
There's Chester, a little bit too hard there for Iwolo. A phenomenal start here, as we've got post-game fireworks, some early fireworks from North Carolina FC, and the goal from Chester. See how that changes the dynamic of this one. Ben Spees over to Chester. DJ Taylor. Patience there from Taylor. Spees drifts over. He can serve a pretty good ball. Finds Iwolo. Miller will clean it up. Duvernay's coming. Miller down near the end line. Kept alive by North Carolina FC. It'll be kept in bounds. Miller gets stuck in, and he'll get the whistle. Foul against Miller.
Miller can just get that off his foot one beat sooner. He had Duvernay there in a supportive position. He could easily roll that ball, and then Duvernay could even take a touch before he whips one back in, or they could then decide to just find the other side. But Miller wanted to get a little crafty there, got into a tackle with Martinez.
Here's Brandon Miller, 29-year-old, played with the Harrisburg City Islanders, but he's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Good to have him with the Independents. 6 minutes in. Yamakani Chester with the first goal for North Carolina FC, and a whistle there against Enzo Martinez. Enzo Martinez, who starred at UNC with Ben Spees, spent some time here. Passionate player. They drop it long here to Jackson. Marked by Duvernay. Played at NC State. Alex Martinez has it knocked out of bounds by Miller. It'll be a throw in for Joel Johnson. Johnson wants it back, and he'll get it back. Johnson down near the end line, set back across. Headed out of there by Aaron Guillen, the man that Morgan Coughlin put the spotlight on. Shot from Enzo Martinez, not on frame.
Defensively, North Carolina FC cannot give Charlotte any space to create right at the top of the box, because you saw right there, Martinez doesn't have much time on the ball, and he's still not afraid to let that one go. You know he's going to get a look on frame whenever he can. So defensively, they have to be able to squeeze that space when they don't have the ball.
Spees drops it over to Miller, too strong. Miller trying to head it back to Duvernay, cleaned up there by Alex Martinez. Turnover. Here's the goal scorer. Chester has it taken away by Oduro, Dominic Oduro. A little disappointed not to see Jorge Herrera, the ageless wonder, 38 years old, scored a goal in Charlotte's win in their last game. That guy in front of the goal, Herrera, so good. He's clinical. 38 years young. He still looks like, Morgan, when you watch him, he looks like a 20-year-old. He's got so much joy for the game.
There's a couple people that have just found that fountain of youth. He is one of them in the men's game. I think we can all agree that Rapinoe has found that in the women's game. Megan Rapinoe, all that she's doing. But I think another player for Charlotte that we haven't mentioned is Oduro. You just mentioned him, but he's played a little bit of that withdrawn forward role, but he leads this team in goals right now with 6. So they have another player. Yes, we talk about the Martinez brothers. Yes, we talk about Jorge Herrera, but you can't forget about Dominic Oduro and all that he provides to this team's offensive attack.
Drop it back to Hugh Roberts. Spent some time with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Go off of Taylor and out of bounds. It'll be a throw in back to Charlotte. 8 minutes in, if you're just joining us on Fox 50, Mike Jeffrey's team for the Charlotte Independents find themselves down early here to the home team, North Carolina FC. An early goal from Chester. It'll be fun to watch how Chester and Taylor combine. Is Taylor not afraid to overlap and make those runs from that right back spot? Will feature in the midfield for the Independents as Alex Martinez drops it back to Roberts.
Well done from Aaron Guillen, keeping his defensive line in the same space. He's telling them to step higher. He doesn't want his team disjointed. That's well done from a player who normally we see him out wide, stepping into that bigger role.
Brotherton knocking down Jackson, and Jackson looking over the assistant referee to see if he saw it. Taylor. Graham Smith, another player, just a piano carrier, does all the work. Honest, perhaps even to a fault, as Dave Sarakin says, just a hard worker. Another guy who's not looking for any extra credit, just happy to be in there and does a great job. Chester gets stuck in, wins it to Miller. Miller wearing the captain's armband. Everybody for North Carolina FC wearing the black armband in honor of Charlie Slagle. Here's Ben Spees. Duvernay. Iwolo. Now DJ Taylor. Over to Chester. Chester has it knocked away. North Carolina FC, they have dealt with injuries. They've dealt with players coming back and forth from FC Cincinnati. And as Dave Sarakin says, the next man up mentality, you hear that a lot, Morgan. You hear these little sayings and stuff. But with this club, he says it's true. I mean, no matter who is here, they're ready to play. And they're getting the job done, 7 in a row unbeaten.
And kind of just to go along with that, you kind of mentioned it, but it's not just players stepping up, but it's players who have been playing sliding into different roles. And I think that's almost as big of a deal as players stepping in who maybe haven't gotten as much time.
Miller takes it with his left. Handled there as Miller stops Miller. Brandon Miller in goal for the Independents. Stephen Miller, the captain's armband. Duvernay, more confidence with every game he's in there. Brotherton was out for a few games, and so Guillen played center back then got back in at left back with the return of Brotherton. But as Morgan told you, it's Kamsia, former North Carolina star, injured, took a shot off the face and had surgery on his jaw, but he's not going to be out very long, according to Dave Sarakin. Less than 10 days, and he'll be back out there, we hope.
That just blows my mind that you can have surgery like that and then be back to play. But as we were mentioning, talking about Guillen, and yes, it's a big change having him formerly play on the outside and then playing center back, but it's really not that much of a change. It's more just the mentality, because you go from being a player that can join into the attack, that can get up and down that wing, that has to win those 1v1 battles, to really being more of that leader and vocal player in the center of the field, because then you can see everything around you. So for Guillen, it's just impressive that he can kind of change that mentality to whatever position he's in and what his team is asking of him.
Charlotte trying to string some passes together, looking good doing it. Mansally will push it forward to Alex Martinez. Alex and Enzo have the freedom from Coach Jeffries to go where they need to be to start the offense for Charlotte, and they'll earn a throw in far side. Wakemet Soccer Park, Salem Stadium, Cary, North Carolina. Beautiful venue, arguably one of the best surfaces in the country for soccer, and a regular host to the College Cup. So Dave Sarakin. That was out of bounds, but assistant referee doesn't say so. Now Miller can try to spring Iwolo. I'll say that goes off of Hugh Roberts. It'll be a throw in back to Charlotte. Little spin over it by Joel Johnson. Stay with us at halftime. We'll be pleased to be joined by Steve Malik, the owner of North Carolina FC, just less than 2 weeks removed from the announcement of plans for a proposed 20,000 seat stadium entertainment district in South Raleigh. Here's Enzo Martinez, quick touch and a good one. Flag stays down and hammered home. We're tied at 1 as Nicky Jackson, what a pass from Enzo Martinez. You were talking about assists, a great one there, and we're tied at 1.
You could see the build-up coming from Charlotte, the way that they were finding those passes around. This is a really nice through ball. Look at this one touch from Martinez, right into the path of Jackson getting forward. He settles that ball on his left foot, not able to close that space. Is Brotherton getting back? Well done from Jackson to bring that ball down and hit it, but that's set up from Martinez. Like we said, he's been more on the side of the assist, which is a little surprising, but when you have other players that can finish and you can play that role underneath them, it's well done from Enzo Martinez.
6th assist for Enzo Martinez, 2nd goal of the season for Jackson. And just like that, we're tied at 1 here, 15 minutes in.
And that's a tough one because Guillen was caught out, so Brotherton is making his tracking run, and he thinks at that point that Jackson doesn't have much room to score because you assume that your goalkeeper, Tim Bacchus, is guarding that near post, so you don't expect that ball to go through there, but just the way that Jackson took that first touch, he snuck that ball in, and it's a well-timed finish.
Guillen looking for Dre Fortune. He'll lose it. Enzo Martinez. Knocked away there by Graham Smith. Chester. What a touch from Enzo Martinez, though. Not too many players are going to first time that right into space, and he did it perfectly.
It's the execution of it, but it's also the vision to know that you have your teammate Jackson running onto that ball, and then knowing that you only have time for the one touch, and then obviously executing it and being able to just put it in his path.
Taku starting this attack. Now Enzo over to his brother Alex. That'll be a thrill for their family to see the two brothers playing together here professionally. Here's DJ Taylor. Spees was calling for it, doesn't get it. Graham Smith. And now Brotherton over to Duvernay. Before I could even ask you, Morgan, how you think Charlotte's going to respond, they showed us. Came right back to equalize.
When they were stringing some passes together, you could see what they were trying to do, build out of the back, kind of build it up the field. I think Charlotte's been a bit unlucky. They've made some really poor decisions, had some poor touches that NCFC has been able to jump on. I think that's going to be an area North Carolina FC can continue to have success, is taking advantage of those opportunities. But you see what Charlotte's doing right now. They're pretty compact and defensively organized. But when they win the ball, they're looking to string those passes, and you know you're going to have the Martinez brothers getting forward. You know you're going to have Jackson springing forward as well, so they have options that can score on that counter.
Ben Spees. Iwolo has it taken away by Roberts. DJ Taylor, great sliding tackle, clean. All ball to Spees. Taylor pushing forward. Dre Fortune. Good pass in. Look at Taylor. Miller! And a save by the other Miller. Corner kick, North Carolina FC.
That's a great save by Brandon Miller, but that is a beautiful build-up from NCFC. This little ball through from Fortune. Taylor finding that one across in the one-time shot from Miller. Well done from Brandon Miller to get a paw on it. But I love the patience in the build-up from North Carolina FC. The way that they see those players, the way that Taylor got forward, very well done.
Dre Fortune with the corner, looping in, hit over the crossbar. That's Brotherton coming forward, and Brandon Miller with the big save will hang on to it. Carolina FC looking to extend its excellent run of form unbeaten in its last 7 USL Championship matches, coming off that 1-0 win over Nashville SC right here at WakeMed Soccer Park. Iwolo had it for a moment. Taken away by Alex Martinez. Iwolo gets it right back. Chester, now Spies. That's the work that Dave Sarakin was praising from Iwolo, including in that Nashville game. After playing back to goal for 90-some minutes, in the 89th minute, he was making the runs defensively to try to take the air out of the game and close it down. And Dave Sarakin said he signaled him out in the locker room afterwards. Iwolo was the man of the match. Johnson. Fireworks scheduled to go off after this one. Game starting a half hour later to mix right in with a 9:30 plus fireworks presentation. Always a great show here at WakeMed Soccer Park.
Both teams are very content with staying compact defensively, but sitting back and just being patient when they're on the ball. You see Charlotte once again looking to build up. North Carolina FC had a lot of time on the ball in their last attack.
Hughes has it taken away. But good tackle coming in. Roberts sliding in there. Hugh Roberts wearing that number 3 jersey. It's the Oak City supporters you can hear. Behind the goal, Brotherton will bring it back to Alex Tambakis, originally from Greece. Ben Spies. Taylor, now Miller. Quickly over to Chester. Chester trying to find Iwolo too long. First minute, tied at 1. North Carolina Derby. North Carolina FC and the Charlotte Independents. Brandon Miller will pop it to midfield. Pretty good ball. Durrell, lovely touch over to the goal scorer Jackson. The Independents gaining confidence here. Two teams met back on April 20th at Charlotte, a game dominated by North Carolina FC, a 3-0 victory for North Carolina FC over the Independents and in Charlotte. Here's Chester. Ball forward. Jackson, Enzo Martinez calling for it. Enzo Martinez had it for a moment. Brotherton steps in there to win it back.
Jackson's a difficult player to mark. As a forward, he's doing a really nice job. He knows that he has Brotherton on his back, so he's checking central to bring Brotherton a little bit higher, and then he's making that diagonal run, knowing that foot for foot speed, he can beat Brotherton in that run. So that's something to keep an eye on. This left back here, where's Duvernay in that motion? What is he doing? Can he maybe see that run coming?
Speaking of runs, here's Chester. Chester, a one-man highlight show, but right to Brandon Miller. That is why the fans love Chester. He can break down multiple players on his own. Jackson trying to get it back to Oduro. Duvernay gets there first.
Well played by Duvernay there. He kept that inside angle, and all he needed was just a little touch to get it back to Timbakis.
Brotherton back to Duvernay, 24th minute. Tied at 1s. Guillen to Taylor, right back to Guillen. Spees will find Duvernay. Miller wanted it. Duvernay is going to make a run down near the end line. Now Miller gets it in the 18 and out of it. Fortune. Back to Spees. If you're open, Spees will find you. He'll take his own shot. One bounce, minimal spillage there from Brandon Miller, and he'll gobble it up.
They didn't play him, but you see the work being done from Iwolo. He's fronting his player. He's checking to that ball, moving away, keeping those center backs busy for Charlotte. Well done from Iwolo. The work that he does, you mentioned on the defensive end, is so impressive, especially when you just have that one high forward. But he does a really nice job of posting up and working to get that ball. They haven't found him too much as a high target. Really, they're looking for him with crosses. So that's one thing I'd like to see a little different from North Carolina FC right now, is maybe can you find Iwolo as he posts up his player.
Johnson on the right side. Taku had it for a moment. Now Oduro will miss-hit it. It'll go out of bounds. Chance to tell you that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship in many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. More than halfway through, Dean Linke along with Morgan Conklin. Morgan, get your thoughts first on the away team, the visitors from Charlotte.
They're tough to play against because they have special players and they can kind of pick and choose those moments. So I think they're making it a little bit difficult. Defensively, they've had some just miscues, whether it's marking, just giving up the ball when they shouldn't. So I think those things are kind of hurting them right now. But then for North Carolina FC and actually with Charlotte, both teams are just settling into the game. There's not much kind of pace behind the ball. They're just kind of settling into their game. So I mean, just playing. There's no real pace. There's no real intensity and kind of need for that right now. So I think we're seeing both teams stay compact defensively, play smart, but we don't see anyone really pushing the envelope. And maybe individual works, but no team kind of taking advantage in that sense.
DJ Taylor cuts inside. Dre Fortune, we mentioned the weather, a little bit of wind coming in, and Morgan, I got to give you credit for your concentration, because as you were talking, all of a sudden, all of the wonderful smells of the food cooking here came right up here inside the 18. No whistle. The referee has not used the whistle a ton, as that's been knocked out of bounds. We are throwing back to Charlotte. Enzo Martinez mishit it, but cleans it up. Enzo falls to the ground. Stephen Miller over there. And again, the referee's been consistent, has not been whistling for those ticky-tack type fouls.
And that makes me happy. I'm glad we don't see that, because I think when you start that, you just kind of open up Pandora's box for every little thing to become a flop and just expecting a foul.
More and more people continuing to come into Salem Stadium, WakeMed Soccer Park in Cary. Roberts. Mansally will give it to George. George, who played against the USA in the Gold Cup. Of course, the USA will take on Mexico Sunday night in Chicago in the Gold Cup final. Earlier that day, the USA women go for their 4th World Cup title. And a whistle going against North Carolina FC as Enzo Martinez is down, and Charlotte will have a decent opportunity here.
This is just a time when you have to be smarter. There's not too much there. It's the push after the fact, but if you're going in for that tackle and you're Brotherton, you have to know who you're going against. You're bigger than Enzo Martinez. Enzo Martinez will also do what he can to draw a foul. So if you're Brotherton, you have to be smarter there because that's a really poor place to give up a set piece.
Alex Martinez there asking for a card on Brotherton. His brother Enzo. I gotta give Enzo credit. He seems really relaxed. Normally when he comes in here to WakeMed Soccer Park, he is seeking a yellow card, but he has played great, nice assist, and he's stayed calm.
I think that's kind of how this game has been going, though. I mean, it's a little slower, the tempo's slower, and I think there hasn't really been any need for him to be passionate in that sense.
Sally with his left foot. One bounce right to Tambakis. '30th minute. Tambakis will play it out of the back to Smith, now Guillen.
I feel like the way that decision made by Tambakis is the perfect example for how this game's going. They're not in any rush to try to find that one far and maybe see if Iwolo can hold it up and then build forward. He's going to play that ball super short. They're going to play it back and then easily build out of the back. Connect those passes. That's what we've seen from both sides so far this half.
Chester. DJ Taylor. We've seen Taylor inside the 18, dropping dimes. Enzo Martinez has come to play, rips it away from Smith. Numbers are good here for Charlotte. Enzo Martinez dropping it into space to the goal scorer, Jackson. Jackson now back across off Brotherton. It'll be a corner kick, Charlotte.
That could have been dangerous for North Carolina FC when Enzo gets that ball and picks it up, then is able to dribble at that back line. I'm kind of surprised at that decision to play Jackson there because Jackson wasn't even looking the right way when that ball was fed to him. He wasn't exactly ready for it. So it worked out well for NCFC, able to kind of drop in, and now they can prepare for this corner, but they have to be careful of those giveaways. Those transitions can be really dangerous for Charlotte.
The left back man, Sally, who we saw on that last free kick, makes the trot all the way over to the far corner. He's got a great left foot, and they will use it. 31st minute, man, Sally looking for his targets. George is in the middle of that. Odura also goes far side, set down. Tambakis goes low with the save, and a big save from Tambakis for North Carolina FC.
That's a really nice ball sent in, and it drops right for Jackson there. He gets up, good connection on that back post. Well done from Tambakis to get low and push that one wide.
Well done by Jackson. Good call, Morgan, as he climbed the ladder. Was a good foot over the defender, timing it perfectly. And you love it when you see players head it down toward the goal, but Tambakis was ready for it near post.
Well, and the ball that was sent in seemed to drop and dip right at the correct moment, and then it just kind of hit Jackson. He was in the right spot.
Alex Martinez to his brother Enzo. Enzo, good ball in. Jackson will turn before Alex Martinez can get there. It's Dre Fortune. Now Iwolo. Iwolo not having as much success back to goal as he did against Nashville. Flag is up. Offside called against Charlotte. 33rd minute. Tied at 1. Chester scoring early for North Carolina FC. Nikki Jackson wearing number 9 for Charlotte with the equalizer. Spees, who's part of the USL Championship Team of the Week. Referee coming over. A little warning. Dominic Oduro went in hard.
Selected section 307 is tonight's selected section. Receive a 5-wood gift off tomorrow.
This is a hard tackle the way Oduro comes in here. He almost goes with 2 feet. He does get all ball with that right leg, but it's almost like a scissor kick the way he comes in with both those legs.
Yeah, good call. His first foot connected with the ball, you're right, but then he brought the other one to take down Duvernay. No card. 34th minute, still tied at 1. Spees over the ball. This game on Fox 50, also streaming on ESPN Plus. And fans, you can follow North Carolina FC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus. Home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Chester comes forward as we tell you to join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. 34th minute, 1-1. Alongside Morgan Conklin, I'm Dean Linke. Happy to be with you here on Independence Day. Happy 4th of July, everybody. We got a good one here. It always is. When Charlotte and North Carolina FC get together. George, such a good player. He really does hold it together. One of the better holding midfielders in USL Championship play. He's had some good games on this field, and that's George right there. Taylor not afraid to go back to his goalkeeper, Tambakis. Ian will switch it to Brotherton. Brotherton's ball not great. Tough one for Smith to handle, but Smith's effort is able to win it back. Knocked out, they'll say, off of North Carolina FC.
That's a turnover that shouldn't have even happened. That ball in the center of the park should have been connected. Bataku did a great job that sliding tackle. He was only able to get a touch there, though, because the pass wasn't where it should have been. So that's a simple ball that has to be connected, because then NCFC can turn and then get at this back line, but instead they're now defending.
Charlotte will play it back to their goalkeeper as well. Charlotte coming off of that 1-0 win over Memphis 901 FC. As Charlotte comes in relatively hot. They beat Birmingham 4-1, tied Louisville City 1-1. And their last 4 games, they're unbeaten. So the Independents starting to turn it around. I think we're seeing that here. Brotherton tries to clear it.
There's no doubt that the Independents have talented players, talented individuals. Obviously with Mike Jeffries back at the helm, that's nothing new for this team, as he was the previous head coach. So I think this is a team that's just trying to find their bearings again. What's their identity? Because they did struggle early on in the season, and I think they're finding it, and they know that they have special players that can step up when needed.
Good ball. Near post flag was up anyway, though. Offside, Charlotte far side, as Mansally making a run up the left flank.
We're seeing players getting forward for Charlotte Independence, and that's a bit of a tough spot for NCFC, because they're having trouble tracking those players, whether it's finding the other side in that long diagonal or that ball right there, left back getting forward. NCFC's having some trouble finding those players and seeing those runs, because the Independents are looking for those little slip balls, and they've been on most of the time.
Duvernay. Roberts. Duro back to Enzo. Enzo Martinez. A little pressure there from Iwola, who tracks back from that 9 position to do the work defensively. Smith finds Dre Fortune quickly to DJ Taylor. Give Charlotte credit, though, as they are getting numbers behind the ball after they lose it.
And it's interesting because they have a really tight shape, but then there are certain players that kind of step out of that. Enzo Martinez being one of them. He kind of just picks the moments when he wants to get out of that shape, but for the most part, they get compact once again. They get behind the ball, and it is difficult to break them down when you have at least 10 players sitting behind the ball.
Chester. Stephen Miller. Now Duvernay. Knocked Knocked out of bounds by Charlotte. It'll be a throw in for Stephen Miller. As you see the Independents already several players warming up. Cristo warming up for Dave Sarakin and North Carolina FC. Knocked out of bounds again. Another throw in for North Carolina FC. Duvernay. It was George there first. Enzo to his brother Alex Martinez. Steven Tico. Mansally can fly, folks, up and down that left side. Good job by Chester to track back, slow him down. Defensive mistake early. Ball floating in the air. Chester stayed with it right on the goal line, knocked it in. The crowd loved it. Felt like perhaps it could look similar to the game back in April in Charlotte when North Carolina FC won it 3-0, but the Independents a different team now. They respond. We're tied at 1. Nifty touch there from Alex Martinez. Jackson bring it wide. Mansally. Alex Martinez. Taku. Over to Joel Johnson. Johnson has it stripped away there by Guillen. George. George goes down. I'll say though, off of George. Back to North Carolina FC.
That's really well done from Iwolo to put that work in to be able to maintain possession for his team. But when you look at the difference between NCFC right now and Charlotte Independence, Iwolo is that high forward. Nobody else is supporting him and getting up at all to at least be another option high. When the ball gets forward for Charlotte, you have their high player, yes, in Jackson, but Martinez is calling for the ball, and he's higher up, and he's screaming for it, so even if he doesn't get the ball, you have to know where he is at all times. So they have at least 2 options, when if you look at NCFC, it's really just Iwolo doing what he can to post up against his player. So there has to be more options, even if it's just for a moment, making that movement higher up to force this back line of Charlotte to account for it.
Keep an eye out for that as this game goes on. 41st minute, DJ Taylor. Dre Fortune. Flag is gonna stay down. Jackson is on, and Tambakis, what a save! Alex Tambakis, one-on-one, sits down on it, and a big save for North Carolina FC.
That doesn't even do it justice. That is a huge save. I don't even know how Jackson stayed on side there. He looked to be a mile off for me, but that's a massive save from Tambakis. His team needed that, and he was confident coming out. Well done.
Miller gets it from Fortune. Now Taylor, a lot of blue jerseys inside the box, sent back out where it came from. Taylor will have another shot at it, marked by Alex Martinez. Martinez trying to stay with it. DJ Taylor, a little step over, looking for Iwolo. Chester, arm flying, player goes down. It'll come back to Charlotte.
And it's kind of tough to see, but this is that build-up, finding Jackson. He either was a step offside, I know we can't see it, or he must just be that much faster than everybody else to be able to break away and have about 8 yards on the closest defender. But come on, Alex Tambakis, well done, stepping up for his team. That is a massive save.
Huge, sacrificing his body. And you're right, Morgan, he looked not just a yard offside, but a couple yards offside, even as we called it live. But the flag stayed down as the assistant referee caught up with the play. He never raised his flag. And Tambakis keeps this one level at 1, sitting down on Jackson. Tough ball for Johnson. Miller trying to stay with it. Miller does stay with it. Stephen Miller looking for a little Miller time. Over to Spees. Spees, side of his foot, into space. Chester can one-time it. He touches it this time. We saw him one time a brilliant goal earlier in the season. This time he touches it And it's knocked out of bounds, throw in North Carolina FC.
Chester is so good with the timing of his runs, but as that defender slides over, his touch is just too big. And it's because he's coming with so much pace, he has to be able to control that ball on the first touch, because it's so easy as a center back just to slide over and pick it right off his foot like Hugh Roberts just did. But well done from Chester. I love the way he gets forward. I love the timing of his runs. That first touch just has to be better.
Throw into Iwolo. Iwolo trying to keep it alive. He does. It'll be a corner kick, North Carolina FC.
Fans, it's time for another North Carolina Education Lottery Carolina Keno corner kick.
And Spees hustles over there.
$100,000 every 5 minutes.
44th minute, North Carolina FC looking strong here these last 2 minutes. Trying to take the lead again, looking for Iwolo, heads it down. Brandon Miller will clean it up.
We really have seen a different North Carolina FC team ever since that save from Tim Bacchus. I think that really got his team going. It's a nice cross sent in, like you said, Iwolo getting in touch. There was almost another deflection, but well done from Brandon Miller to be able to read it.
Roberts finds George. George to Enzo Martinez. Martinez is looking for Oduro, taken away there by Duvernay.
That's really well done from Duvernay because he got sucked in pretty far centrally. And it was obvious where that ball was going to go to Oduro, but well done from Duvernay to read that and to be able to then pick it off. It wasn't the best ball from Enzo Martinez, which helped him out a bit, but good work there.
Smith. Tough ball for Miller.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated a minimum of
1 minute of extra time here, minimum whistles. We did have the 2 goals. Too long for Chester.
After Smith played that ball, you kind of see him frustrated because he wasn't able to connect it, and I love seeing that. I think we've had a really good first half. We've seen one from Graham Smith. He's been consistent, knocking that ball around, being an outlet in the middle. But I like the fact that he's in the attacking third, tries to play that diagonal ball, it doesn't hit, and he's not happy with that. He's not going to settle. And I like seeing that from a player that you know he's doing a good job when we don't talk about him too much, but I like the fact that he's holding himself to that high standard.
Goal scorer drops it back, and after 45 minutes of play in this North Carolina derby on the 4th of July, we're tied at 1 between North Carolina FC and Charlotte.
I think we're going to see a different second half. I'm looking forward to the second half because I think this was a bit slow, although we did get those goals. There were moments of goodness, good spurts, but I'm expecting a different second half. I think both teams are going to come out with just a little bit more energy.
A goal apiece for both teams. Getting it started early. Iwolo was there. Chester would put it in to make it 1-0 in front of the home crowd. Chester getting it done. But the Charlotte Independents, what a touch by Enzo Martinez over to Jackson to make it 1-1. And a little bit later, the Greek Freak would come up with a big save as well. Miller saving it for Charlotte. Tim Bacchus with a monster save to keep it at 1s here at WakeMed Soccer Park, Salem Stadium.
Maria, so how's work?
It was 4th period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. North Carolina FC and Charlotte Independence. Little North Carolina derby going, and we are tied at 1. Having a good time on the 4th of July, and always a good time when you're with the owner of North Carolina FC. He is here, as promised, Steve Malik. Steve, great to be with you. Happy 4th of July. Great time for soccer indeed.
Sure is. You got to feel good about Independence Day, playing the Independence.
Well, also we got to feel good about the announcement a couple weeks ago about a proposed 20,000-seat stadium entertainment district in South Raleigh.
We're very excited to finally come forward with all those plans, and we believe downtown Raleigh is ready to have a stadium and all the entertainment we can bring it down there.
Let's show everybody, Steve, what we're talking about here as we look at these amazing pictures. That is right there, proposed South Raleigh, which really needs something like this.
It does. That's a part of town that, while it's downtown, hasn't experienced the benefits of the growth of some of our other parts of the city. So we're excited to do something there that's commercial, retail, living, everything that people want with walkability and some transit, some green space, and of course a big stadium.
And let's take a look at some of the numbers behind what this means as you talk about a new hub of activity in downtown Raleigh.
Well, clearly it's a massive development at $1.9 billion. We're talking about 1.6 million square feet of office space and some badly needed hotel rooms downtown, doubling the number of hotel rooms that we have downtown, obviously with housing and as you can see, quite a bit of mixed use.
And you see right here the entertainment complex. Look at the amount of revenue it would generate, Steve.
Well, yeah, the net present value is in excess of $4 billion just in North Carolina, with most of that being in Wake County. But we're talking about a lot of jobs created. When you poll the public, that's one thing they get very excited about. And we've got some partnerships in place to make sure that people in that community get those jobs.
We got to get this done. So here we are on Fox 50. Tell everybody what they got to do, Steve Malik, please.
Please go to visitdowntownsouth.com. You can put in your zip code and it'll pull up your appropriate elected officials and tell them that you support this stadium. We need a little help with interlocal funding to, those are tourist taxes, to help us get a catalyst to really grow that area.
Steve Malik, thank you for all you've done for soccer in this area. On behalf of everybody, we appreciate all you do.
Thank you. We love having you all these years. Really appreciate it.
At Strategic Systems, we understand that a reliable IT infrastructure doesn't just materialize by itself. we've been helping Triangle businesses of all sizes build and manage secure, reliable technology solutions for over 25 years. Strategic Systems and CEI. Are you transforming your business?
Behind this shot, there's a story. A story of well-loved cleats and pride-soaked jerseys. A story of years of support and leadership. There is a story of family. Behind every shot, there's soccer.com. Greatness grows here.
A month from now, you'll be a little older. A year from now, you'll be a little wiser. Will you be stronger? Your best is not behind you. Look forward.
Everybody having a good time here. Independence Day. It's become a tradition at Wakeman Soccer Park, Salem Stadium. North Carolina FC and Charlotte Independence tied at 1. Let's take a look at the USL Championship Team of the Week. And once again, you will see a member of North Carolina FC, Ben Spees, with the winner over Nashville.
Yeah, it's good to see him get on that Team of the Week. Such a consistent player. He's now one of only 2 players for North Carolina FC who have started and played in every single game so far this year. He and DJ Taylor are those 2 players for NCFC. So good to see Spees getting that recognition throughout the whole league.
Former Michigan star Robbie Mertz for Pittsburgh also on that team. As we take a look at the updated USL standings coming into Independence Day action, and North Carolina FC, you see them right there in 4th place with 30 points.
Yeah, and that's a really good place to be, especially because they've only played 16 games, obviously, before the night tonight. Some other teams already playing 17 and even 18. So for them, they're in a really good mix, knowing that they have a couple extra games at hand as well.
Tampa Bay leading with 36. Some scores from around the league. Games starting a little bit later. Some games tomorrow and Saturday as well. Pittsburgh and Bethlehem Steel tied at 0. So we'll be back with more, including our first half highlights. North Carolina FC 1, Charlotte Independence 1. You're watching USL Championship action on Fox 50 in the Triangle.
At Coastal Credit Union, we offer financial services, but we're not a bank, and that's a good thing. Here's why. Banks answer to Wall Street. At Coastal, we're owned by our members. That means we answer to you. Banks charge their customers inflated, unnecessary fees to increase their profits. We actually share our profits with our members through higher dividends, better rates, and lower fees. Find out more about how we're different than banks and how we work harder for you and your money at bankbetter.org.
I'm here with a few of my best friends, the pediatric specialists at WakeMed Children's. There's a whole bunch of them: pediatric surgery, cardiology, orthopedics, ENT. The list of specialties goes on. And everyone is like pediatric trained. Special care, special people makes me feel pretty special. WakeMed Children's, your children's hospital, and a whole lot more.
Nearly 150 years of experience goes into making each and every Continental tire. So you can trust with total confidence that our tires will deliver superior performance, no matter where the road takes you. Continental Tire, for what you do.
Happy 4th of July from WakeMed Soccer Park, Salem Stadium, home to North Carolina FC, tied at 1 against the Charlotte Independence. Great to spend time with Steve Malik. Also great to spend time with Morgan Conklin. I'm Dean Linke. An interesting first half. North Carolina FC early and late, Charlotte in the middle.
Yeah, it was interesting. There wasn't too much urgency between either side, but we definitely saw moments when both teams could be dangerous early on. North Carolina FC taking advantage of a poor clearance on the side of Charlotte, but then we saw a really nice build-up and a nice goal from Charlotte to get them on the board. So I'm expecting this second half to have a little bit more tempo, a little bit more urgency to it, just because both teams are going to be looking for that final goal.
All right, let's go to work and show you the highlights of this one, Morgan.
Yeah, and it's really well done on this left side from Duvernay to send that ball across, but Miller's brought out of the goal. Nobody clears it, and then Chester just slides in behind, is able to tap that one home. Brandon Miller has to do a better job when he comes out of his goal and then retreating. He just kind of slides back, and that's the easiest goal Chester's going to score.
They love Chester, young and old. He is a highlight machine getting it done.
And then we saw a couple build-ups here from Charlotte. This is the really nice touch from Enzo Martinez, setting that ball over the top to Nicky Jackson. The way he brings this down on that left foot, doesn't have much of an angle, but he still gets his way. Brotherton tries to close that space, can't get a touch on it. That's a really nice finish from Nicky Jackson.
Quality touch from Enzo Martinez, the former star for the Tar Heels.
And then there's some really nice slip balls for NCFC. I love this one, getting DJ Taylor forward. It's a nice ball across to Miller. He hits that one first time. Nobody's marking him, able to touch it, but a great save there from Brandon Miller.
Miller denies Miller to keep it at one. He wouldn't be the only goalkeeper that would come up big.
And there were a couple times Tim Bacchus was called upon. This is one time Jackson just rises above those players. Good timing on the ball. Great one sent across, and Tim Bacchus able to get low and pop that one wide.
Alex Tambakis, how about this save?
Still not sure how Jackson was onside on this one, but take nothing away from Alex Tambakis. So calm in that moment, comes out of his box, closes every angle down, and it's a kick save that falls to him, and then he's still able to maintain possession. Well done, because his team needed that in that moment.
Sits down on it. 8 shots for North Carolina FC, 4 shots for the Independents. What else stands out?
I mean, the fact that possession is just equal. I think that's really what we've seen. Neither team kind of set themselves apart, but for NCFC to have 8 shots, 6 of which are on frame, that's a really good stat, but to only have 1 goal, that's something that has to be better in the second half.
So here we go, the second half underway. Both teams back out there ready to rock it here. The Charlotte Independents in all white, North Carolina FC in all blue. Great to have Steve Malik, the owner of North Carolina FC, on to talk about the 20,000-seat proposed stadium in downtown and his call to action to go with it. One minute in. Brotherton bombs it long, looking for Chester. Chester tries to clean it up. He'll knock it out of bounds. Dean Linke along with Morgan Conklin for our USL Championship action. Fox 50. Capital Broadcasting for their continued support of North Carolina FC and the North Carolina Courage. Chester's going to bring it back to Tambakis. More people heading into Salem Stadium here. Post-game fireworks to follow after this one. We'll bring you some of that right here on your Fox 50 television station. Here's Taylor. Chester to his right. He'll go to Iwolo. Iwolo knew Chester was there. Chester first times this one, and it'll be a corner kick. Corner kick, North Carolina FC.
DJ Taylor has to continue to get forward in the second half, because by him doing that, one, it forces Alex Martinez to drop in defense, so he's not in a higher position. But NCFC is better when Taylor gets forward and he's an option. Really good vision. He can play that slip ball. He can be an option to cross and get into the attack. So this team is better when he's up there, and we need to see that throughout this second half.
Dre Fortune. Good ball sent in. Miller goes down. That was Guillen, rather, inside the 6. Spees. Graham Smith. And here's Stephen Miller. Miller. Iwolo. Dropping it. Chester to Fortune. What a save by Brandon Miller. Brotherton is there. Back to Spees. And the flag is up, offside called against North Carolina FC. Brandon Miller with another big save.
I I love that decision here from Brotherton. First off, it's a nice touch and shot from Fortune. Well done from Miller, but then Brotherton knocks this one back because he knows he has no angle whatsoever. Miller pops it wide, well done from Fortune, but then it's this little touch back to try to find Spies. They ended up calling him offside, but that's a really nice sequence, and I like seeing that there's a player, a center back, who doesn't normally get forward and have those opportunities in front of goal, that he's aware he doesn't have the best angle, and he's gonna play that safer bet and find his teammate.
What a shot from Dre Fortune. Celebrated a birthday yesterday. They recognized that before the game here as well. 49th minute as we're tied at 1. Come back to Tambakis. Brotherton. Stephen Miller. Miller stays with it. Drops it over to Fortune. Fortune will earn a corner kick. Such composure for Dre Fortune. Sometimes it seems like it's nonchalant, but it's not. It's just the way he plays, and he always puts it on frame.
He kind of just glides and coasts around and picks and chooses his moments. He wasn't as involved getting shots on frame and in that attacking third in the first half, but now you see him picking his moments and really putting that on frame.
Dre Fortune. And Brandon Miller is there. I want to wish happy 4th of July to Kurt Johnson, the president GM of North Carolina FC, and his staff do a great job. Brandon Miller under some pressure there from Iwolo. Chester with the cleanup. Taylor now Spies. North Carolina FC comes out of the locker room at halftime ready. Taylor, Iwolo turns, sliding in there was Hugh Roberts. Ian's going to come back to Tambakis, 51st minute. Taylor, good weight on that ball. Fortune, can he square it? Deflected enough, still loose, little spillage, still loose. And finally, Brandon Miller will gobble it up.
That's 4 different opportunities to put that one away, and nobody could. Well done from Brandon Miller.
It has been all North Carolina FC to start the second half. They'll play advantage. Well, Durrell. Ian read that perfectly, and Duvernay did well to just get a piece of it, knock it over to Smith. How about some of these passes in and around the 18 and the 6 for North Carolina FC? Perfectly weighted balls.
And I knew we would see a different second half, and I think part of it is due to the impact we've seen from Fortune, getting him forward, looking to shoot, but also just be around the box, and he's always an option.
Here's Fortune now. Fortune, good little ball. Chester. And Sally knocks that away. Another great ball. Taylor to Miller. Miller trying to cross it, denied again. Brotherton all over Jackson. They'll play advantage. Jackson stays with it. Jackson's got the goal for Charlotte. Going to try to do it on his own. Drops it back to Enzo Martinez. Looked like he was going to crank from distance. He'll stay with it. Boy, what a Zen-like performance from Enzo Martinez. Man's been doing some yoga or something. He just been solid this whole game.
Zen-like, I've never heard that. That's good.
George. Mansally. Alex Martinez. That's a good ball. Mansally. Pressure on Miller. Good work by Joel Johnson to win it back. So we have the best seat in the house, and you can really appreciate a good holding midfielder. George does such a good job directing traffic. That one's going to stay in bounds. Mansally is in. Mansally, and denied. Guillen thought it was out of bounds. The assistant referee said it stayed in. Dave Sarakin thought it was out of bounds.
But these are those last opportunities for NCFC, and right here, Fortune is calling for the ball. He is a great option for that ball to be laid off to him. You see the frustration, because if Awolo touches him, that's an easy finish. And then once again, here's Fortune getting in. That looks like it could have been called for a handball. Nobody's able to tap this one in. Everybody's going for the poke. If somebody just steps in and hit that one, that's when they can get a good connection. But this is what everyone's upset about right here. It's hard to see because you see Herrera is the one running by that substitution, but everybody for NCFC stopped.
So Enzo Martinez will handle the corner kick here in the 54th minute. Mansally waiting for a short one. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Charlotte Independents. Enzo Martinez, a little bit of a flop there. The referee's been consistent though the entire game. Knocked out of bounds by Enzo Martinez, starting to fly around. And just now getting a little bit more chit-chatty with the referee. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. 55th minute. Morgan Conklin, Dean Linke. Delighted to be with you here on Fox 50, ESPN Plus. Taylor, Graham Smith, Brotherton, Caleb Duvernay, Dre Fortune, Spees, now Taylor's got Chester on the right side. Here comes Chester. Chester, one touch and then hit this one. The Oak City supporters will get a piece of that attempted cross there from Chester.
It's well done from NCFC to find that other side. I think Taylor could have dribbled a little bit more and kind of pulled those defenders. He didn't have to play Chester right away, but then Chester didn't have to force that cross. He could have taken another touch and played a better ball in.
If you're the Charlotte Independents, you are super pleased that you just survived that barrage, which may continue right here. Spees read that time by Johnson before it can find Chester. Durrell going the other way. Enzo Martinez to Alex Martinez. Making a run is Mansally. Taylor knew he was coming. Mansally first time across the goal. Duvernay, safety first, pops it high in the air. What a job by Chester to win that one. Now Iwolo can turn. Iwolo stays with it. Gets it back to Chester. Donovan Iwolo, who played a role in the goal for Chester as he got in front of Miller, the goalkeeper. Here's Stephen Miller, the captain tonight for North Carolina FC. Chester. Taylor lurking on the right side. Taylor comes forward, gets enough of it. Knocked to the ground, no whistle. Referee says it stays with Fortune. Good looking ball! What a ball from Dre Fortune to find the head of Iwolo.
That is such a pretty pass. This ball pops out to Fortune. He's really just standing there. Well done from Taylor to put his body on the line. Alex Martinez doesn't even close the space. Fortune takes a couple beats right there, and that ball is on a dime right to Iwolo. Well done, he gets up for it, can't get it to fall. Doesn't head that one down. That is a beautiful pass. Well done from Fortune to pop that one in.
Alex Martinez to Enzo Martinez. Making a run forward was Taku, wearing number 26, and here's Taku right in the middle of it, knocked to the ground. Referee again, no whistle. Enzo Martinez, looked like he got a hand on it. Miller. Out of bounds as Sally wanted it. Tough pass there from Tico. '59th minute, a good one here. Two teams that know each other oh so well. They have played each other, seems like every year, even when they were in different leagues, they seem to run into each other in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup so many years. This year, Charlotte knocked out by an amateur club that North Carolina FC took down before losing to New York FC in the Open Cup. Roberts will give it back. Here's George. I'm a big fan of George. I don't know if you're picking up on that, Morgan Conklin. I just like the way he plays the game, keeps it simple. He's a good holding midfielder.
I love seeing a holding midfielder that isn't flashy and they just do what needs to be done. If you see him, he's just kind of jogging around, always in support, and oftentimes he may take a step to the left, a step to the right, or back to kind of separate himself from his defender. And that's all he needs, because he just needs that little bit of space to be able to receive and then find the other side, or maybe find another teammate with the ball.
DJ Taylor, what a ball here to Iwolo, side of his foot. Here's Miller. Spees calling for it. At halftime, showed you that he's part of the USL Championship Team of the Week. Miller bumped to the ground. No whistle against George. There'll be a throw in for North Carolina FC. Dave Sarakin pleading to the fourth official. He may have a case there. However, as you said, Morgan, the referee's been consistent, though. He hasn't called any of those.
I didn't expect him to call that just because we haven't seen it, but also Miller's a bigger guy. I think he went down pretty easy for his size, so that's one reason why we may have not seen it.
DJ Taylor. Duvernay. Knocked away. North Carolina FC. Possession was 50-50 at halftime. Not the case here in the second half. It feels like it's 80-20 in favor of the home team. Mike Jeffries, the top man for the Charlotte Independents, looking to make a change here. As he's talking to Valentin Sabella. And also the ageless wonder, Jorge Herrera. He may bring two in. Talked to Dave Sarakin about Jorge Herrera and his age. And he said, when you can poach the way he can, you can play a long, long time. And Herrera will be dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, it'll be a corner kick for the Independents. Johnson making a nice run along the right side.
We've seen both teams have outside backs that can get forward and be dangerous in the attack. Not the best ball across from Johnson, but he does enough because he's earned his team another opportunity on that corner, and they have some big bodies. They have players that aren't afraid to go up for this ball coming in. So NCFC, they need a good clearance here, and once they clear it, can they keep possession? Can they then build up rather than just losing possession and kind of clearing it out?
So a corner kick for Mansally and the Independents. Two players ready to come on. Coach Jeffries going to go for it here. Mansally. Enzo Martinez was open at the top of the 18. They went to the top of the 6. As Enzo will head it over to his brother Alex. Not one, but 2 subs ready to come on. Herrera, Sabella. You see Herrera, I'm reminded of Dustin Swinehart, who played forever for the Independents and is still up in Charlotte with Soccer Shots. Former player from our club, Jacob Coggins, up there as well. That Independents tight Christian-based family they have up there behind this team.
You can really see the lines in which North Carolina FC is defending with. They have those 2 players higher. Well done from Chester to slide over and put pressure on that ball. Yes, Johnson was able to maintain it and turn up and face, but he's then forcing that ball down the sideline. So well done from NCFC, keeping that shape, working side to side, and they end up winning possession.
So here we go. Dominic Oduro will make way for Valentin Sabella.
Or on the east side in the 300s. Post-game fireworks show will start approximately 8 minutes after the end of the game.
Looks like also Jackson, the goal scorer, will come off for Herrera. So well done, Nicky Jackson had a goal and then one denied by Tambakis. And here comes the 38-year-old Herrera.
Also coming out of the game, number 9, Nicky Jackson. Coming in number 10.
I just think about how I'm sore after like running or maybe playing like 15 minutes of pickup, and this man is 38, still playing professional soccer. It blows my mind.
What I've heard as well, just an outstanding human being. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for North Carolina FC. This game on Fox 50, also on ESPN Plus, where you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for North Carolina FC and click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores, plus get reminders on North Carolina FC's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Miller. Brandon Miller with Stephen Miller crashing down on him, pops it long. Second ball won here by Alex Martinez. Herrera plays it into space to Sabella. That back line for North Carolina FC, they've got to kind of recalibrate with these flyers in Herrera and Sabella coming off the bench.
That's a great point, Dean. I mean, we saw right there, Herrera to Sabella coming in. We've already seen that Charlotte likes to play those slip balls, and they kind of did it all game long. So now that you have players that are fresh, and you have a player like Sabella who's not afraid to get through, you're not as worried about Herrera getting behind that back line, but he's going to set up others. I'm expecting to see more from Enzo Martinez as this game continues. The back line has to be aware of that, but they also have to just be organized. It's communication. It's making sure you're pinched together tight so that there's not big seams for those balls to be played through.
Chester did well to stay with it, over to Spees, right back to Chester. Chester feeling the pressure there. Alex Martinez will rip it away. Now George. Mansally back to Herrera. George. Boy, how much energy did North Carolina FC use there in the first 10 minutes, where they were all over Brandon Miller.
And that's one that you wish you could have snuck in a goal, because then it's kind of okay if you just sit back a little bit more, absorb some of that pressure. But for them, I still expect to see moments of that greatness. But as this half goes on, will subs be made? Who's going to come in, or who's just going to step up and be able to put one away to be able to change how this game's going?
Enzo Martinez whistled for the foul after Chester had it, he took it away, but Enzo called for the foul. Too long. Tune in to ESPN3 on July 12th for a special Friday night edition of the Wednesday Night Soccer when Tacoma Defiance invades the fortress that is Zions Bank Stadium to try and slow down a surging Real Monarchs side. It's Wednesday Night Soccer on a Friday. See it all July 12th on ESPN3. Pressure here from the home team. Oak City supporters standing the entire time, chanting, singing, making noise. Extra festive this Independence Day. Fortune, Stephen Miller. Spees. Fortune will leave it neatly to Taylor. Now Fortune has some space. If you're open, he'll find you. Miller. It fell to his left foot. He prefers the right, and earning a corner kick is Chester off the head of George, I think. And it'll be a corner kick for Dre Fortune and North Carolina FC.
And it's good work there, back to goal by Miller. He knows he doesn't have a clear shot, so it's laid back. This ball is hit directly. George isn't far away at that point, and that one has a lot of pace on it coming from Chester.
Van George played against the USA for Trinidad and Tobago, missed the last game with his national team, right back in there for Coach Jeffries, and looks to be okay.
Fans, let's get excited for another
Good throw.
corner kick brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery. Check out nclottery.com to find out where you can
Fortune. Guillen goes near post, Brotherton goes far post, nobody finds it. It'll be a goal kick, Charlotte. The North Carolina Courage in action tomorrow night here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Of course, the North Carolina Courage are reigning NWSL champion, Shield winners, and ICC champion, taking on the Houston Dash tomorrow at 7:30 with fireworks to follow. And with the Women's World Cup going on, you can feel the surge for women's soccer.
Hey, it's a great time to be a fan of the game. It's a great time to be a fan of women's soccer. I'm excited for Sunday.
Sunday, the USA going for their 4th World Cup in back-to-back World Cup titles. Spees. DJ Taylor. Taylor. Oh, what a ball! Taylor to Miller, and I think Brandon Miller swatted it away. What a ball from Taylor, and what a first-time attempt from Stephen Miller.
We've seen more from Stephen Miller these last couple minutes. He's become a big target up there, and Taylor's able to find him. This ball's whipped in, it has that pace, it's bending, and all Miller needs is a touch. Brandon Miller, though, is able to pop that one over. But well done from Stephen Miller to get to that near side of his defender to get the first touch.
Driven in off the corner and cleared by Alex Martinez. That replay showed you that ball was in. That was in without the tip from Brandon Miller. Fortune sends it right back in. Sabella with Enzo Martinez. Not sure where Fortune was going with that one, as it'll come back to Brandon Miller. '73rd minute. Iwolo for backing in to the defender, Hugh Roberts.
I'm kind of surprised by this because we really haven't heard that whistle too much tonight. Not quite sure how you can call that foul on Iwolo when he has Roberts coming up over his back.
Stolen away there by Graham Smith. Squared to Fortune. Guillen. Dave Sarakin trying to show a little touchdown there. Spees. Miller. No whistle. Miller takes down George. Miller's going to get a yellow card. A yellow card issued to Stephen Miller, 31.
They're giving that to Miller. Just the way that he comes in on this one, he's behind George. No chance of getting that ball. Completely behind him. That's kind of a no-brainer. Once that's called, you know you're getting a yellow.
John Bradford, one of the assistant coaches for Dave Sarakin, indicating a sub. It'll be Christo, the big, tall forward from Creighton, who will come on. Enzo Martinez over to his brother Alex. Sabella making a run. Alex Martinez, top of the 18, will get it back. Dre Fortune takes it away. Chester plays it forward to Spees, and Spees clipped there by George. George, let's see if he'll get a card. I don't think he will. Checks on Spees, who's, well, let's see. I think he may get one. He will. So now George will get a yellow card. Van George. Herrera checking on Spees.
Usually that's a professional foul in that moment. I think George just got caught behind him, and he definitely gets that back leg there of Spees. But for Charlotte, you want to stop that attack because they're caught in transition. They have their players higher up. George is about to be beat with this ball, and he's a player that you need behind. We hope Ben Spees is okay. He looks to be in pain down there because he did get that back ankle hacked a little bit.
So a yellow card issued to George. Training staff for North Carolina FC. Ben Spees. Dave Sarakin describing him as a quiet leader, a leader by example. A guy who has, I think, innate characteristics to be a captain, but has come in here and just been a true pro, as you said, played in every game, been ready to go. Nice pickup by North Carolina FC, Kurt Johnson and the crew for sure, as Christo getting ready to check in.
One of the most impressive things to me about Spees is when you watch him play, it's what he does off the ball. His movement, he opens up pockets of space for so many people. There was an opportunity, one of Dre Fortune's really good chances on goal. He only got the ball because Spees brought his defender out of that way and opened up the lane to then find Fortune. So he does a lot of quiet movements that other people don't see. You're not going to applaud somebody for a great run pulling a defender out. You're going to look at what happens after that. But I think Ben Spees does a lot of work that people probably don't notice. And that's why it's good to see him on Team of the Week, getting that recognition with the league. It helps that he got that goal against Nashville, but he's a player that brings so much to this team.
Big round of applause for Donovan Iwolo, and well-deserved, as Christo will come on replacing Iwolo. Another great effort from number 7. As John Bradford, Nick Platter, Clint P.A., the fine coaching staff with Dave Sarakin. High fives for Iwolo. Also Aaron Mond wearing number 18, the final sub for Mike Jeffries coming on. So there's Christo, fresh off the bench. Big, tall center forward has scored some goals as a sub and also as a starter, but has been better as a sub. George with that yellow card. We'll switch it to Johnson. Joel Johnson. Sabella. Minute 79. Early goal from Yamakani Chester for North Carolina FC. Answered by the Charlotte Independents and Nikki Jackson, who's now on the bench. So we're still at ones. If it's tied after regulation, it ends in a tie. For some of you first-timers here on Fox 50, as that'll roll out of bounds. And come back to Brandon Miller and Charlotte.
I know we've said his name a lot, but Brandon Miller has had an outstanding game for Charlotte. He has had some big-time saves. I think we've been pretty fortunate. We've seen a good goalkeeping matchup between both Tambakis and Miller for Charlotte.
Indeed, Tambakis sitting down on that one. Miller stopping a couple from Stephen Miller, Brandon Miller. Here's Cristo. Fights to win it back. Leave it for Smith, who was clipped there by Enzo Martinez. Not even sure if you were born yet, but the save from Tambakis reminded me of Walter Zenga saving a shot from Peter Vermees in the 1990 World Cup, just like that, where he sat down on it to deny the USA as Italy beat them 1-0. Tambakis sitting down on that, coming out there for that big save. Were you born in 90 yet, Morgan?
Not quite.
Miller back across. Foul called against Duvernay. You can feel a little bit of frustration for the North Carolina FC bench as Morgan, I think you agree, it feels like North Carolina FC should be on top at this point, but we're still at ones.
Yeah, I think after just seeing those halftime stats, they had 8 shots, 6 of which on frame. I can only imagine what we're at right now, just with the pressure that they've been putting on Charlotte, the opportunities they've had. Brandon Miller has had to step up a couple times. It's definitely a bit frustrating, but I think at this point, we've seen North Carolina FC step up in the second half like they needed to. They've had those good moments, and there's still time to put one away. They have players that can do that. It just comes down to taking those opportunities and making the most of when they have that possession.
Austin DeLuze still warming up. Guillen will chest this back to Tambakis.
And Dean, I mentioned earlier how there was a lot of work being done from Nwolo as that high forward, but he really was alone. It becomes even more important now having Cristo as that high forward. He's a great target, and he will hold that ball up. He can also turn, but he needs somebody else because he's that big target forward. There has to be somebody else helping him because he's not going to do as much defensive work as we saw from Nwolo. Nwolo's just special in that sense. So there has to be more support getting forward for North Carolina FC if they're trying to create anything kind of building forward.
Fortune, great ball to Taylor. Taylor running downhill. Miller making a run. Takes a player with him. Fortune is open. Fortune. Cristo. Right idea. If he could have slowed that down and then ran onto it, he would have had an opportunity to take a shot.
I think that touch just got away from him too. Dre Fortune, though, just sets this ball wherever he wants. He sprays it around the field. Such a good player in that midfield.
Stephen Miller pushed off the ball. And they'll say it'll stay with North Carolina FC. Miller, quick throw into Taylor. Miller is in. Miller squares it. Oh, and it goes over Chester. All he's got to do is tap it in for the brace, and he couldn't hit it. Herrera, so close to being offside. Flag stays down as Guillen has it anyway. We will show you that last opportunity the next time we have a stoppage. Great squared ball from Stephen Miller. Taylor. Miller drives it in, out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick, North Carolina FC.
We've seen some really good service tonight, whether it's Miller, Fortune, or Taylor. This one's Miller sending this ball in across. You hear a lot about traffic, making it difficult for a goalkeeper, but Chester can't even see that ball coming through. Too much traffic in his way. But you're right, all he needed was a little poke to put that one home.
Corner kick, Ben Spees, lofted ball. Knocked out of there. Just kind of a floating ball there from Spees. Spees will have another opportunity to get it inside the 18. Left there by Brotherton. And cleared out on the break. Here come the Independents. Alex Martinez has his brother Enzo in front of him. He'll bring it back to the center of the field. Taco wearing number 26, far side to Sabella. Herrera is in the 18. Again, no whistle. Great job by our crew as always. Kyle Lang directing, Savannah Revel expression. The youngster Colin Thrash does a great job on audio. Replay Ian Lang, cameras Brian Ware and Chris Walsh upstairs. Curtis Adams, Chase Cuddington, and video Tim Arms. Love working with this crew. Great job. These fine men and women here on the 4th of July. Austin DeLuz looking to check in, and Austin DeLuz getting his lungs back. This is a good sub right here. Chester had himself a nice game. He's got the only goal for North Carolina FC.
And I think that's a smart decision. We definitely saw Chester get those minutes. He earned it, did a great job. But obviously DeLuz needs to get in this game. He's a game changer. It's good to see him back at home. It's a really good sub. I like that you get him a couple minutes, especially when this team needs a player like DeLuz to come in and make a difference.
DJ Taylor. Corner kick, North Carolina FC, 87th minute, time winding down. A second half dominated by the home team, but nothing to show for it in terms of the game-winning goal. Dre Fortune, he serves a great ball, folks, get ready. Guillen comes forward, he's got the near post, they go to Guillen. Knocked to the ground. Guillen still down. And now a whistle going against North Carolina FC, and the referee will check on Aaron Guillen.
Guillen got knocked after the play. He went for that header, and as he was going down, there was another collision. He does a great job getting to that near post, getting ahead on this ball that comes across. It actually misses, but then you see behind, it's that knee to the head.
And remind you, the Birds will be here tomorrow night. Same thing.
Came on the air talking about Aaron Guillen. Saw him make the run. Fortune was thinking near post the entire time. Guillen was hoping to flick it. Definitely took a shot to the head. Saw him looking back, perhaps trying to keep an eye on who did it. Brandon Miller, pop it long. Austin DeLuz is a high riser, folks. He's wearing the captain's armband. Stephen Miller gave it to him. So after surviving that first 10-minute barrage, Mike Jeffries decided to go for it. Now, I would not be surprised on the road, particularly after losing at home to this team 3-0, if they'd be happy with a tie on the road. Most teams usually are.
And this has been a pretty hard-fought match at times. I think we've seen it slower a bit. Obviously, North Carolina FC has had that momentum and more of those opportunities. I think Charlotte would be happier with a tie than NCFC would at this point.
Well said. Here's Graham Smith to Austin DeLuz, 89th minute. DeLuz drops it to Fortune. Fortune deflected. And another corner kick coming for North Carolina FC.
And you can see that NCFC, they're trying to keep going. They know they have the momentum, they have the opportunities. Still expecting, I would say, at least 2 minutes of added time, just based on the stoppages, the subs, etc. But NCFC, they're ready to keep getting at this back line.
Trey Fortune, far post this time. Miller is there. Cleared out by George. Duvernay does well to come back and win it. North Carolina FC pushing here for the winner. We're in the 90th minute. Deflected high in the air, Aaron Guillen. Sabella. What a nice touch by Enzo Martinez to get it back to Sabella. Enzo Martinez, one of the best games I've seen him play here as a pro. His brother Alex Martinez. Alex Martinez is in! Squares it back and nobody home. I thought he could have taken a shot right there.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't think he knew where he was in front of the goal. He also didn't have time to pick his head up, so that's well done defensively from NCFC to limit Martinez in that aspect. He didn't even know where he was, didn't know there was an opportunity to shoot.
4 minutes of added time. 4 minutes. Long ball, won by DeLuz. Pop it long. 4 minutes of added time. I want to remind you one more time to tune into ESPN3 on July 12th for a special Friday night edition of Wednesday Night Soccer, when Tacoma Defiance invades the fortress that is Zions Bank Stadium to try to slow down a surging Real Monarchs side. It's Wednesday Night Soccer on a Friday. See it all July 12th on ESPN3. Stay with us on Fox 50 for post-game fireworks. DJ Taylor looking for the winner. Cristo to pop up on him. Cristo trying to stay with it and is denied. And now Brandon Miller will try to kill some time. All the way back to Tambakis. Austin DeLuz to Dre Fortune. Can NCFC get the winner here in extra time? Still over 2 minutes remaining. DJ Taylor open on the right side. Great job by Ben Spees to tell Smith to get it to him. Taylor. Now Spees. And look at Miller trying to ride the bike, denied there by Hugh Roberts. Another shot, Smith with a cracker. It'll roll all the way over for a throw-in. What a shot from Smith.
All game long, I've been saying how Graham Smith is such a quiet, solid player.
Fortune back across. Graham Smith again comes in. He's taken, no, they'll say no, and he went down. Dave Sarakin hands to his head, and now they'll call it against Guillen. This is going to milk the clock as well, so it'll have double the pain.
And this shot here, or this was the opportunity. It looked like it should have been a foul at first glance. Smith can't really tell from that angle if there's much contact. I don't think he gets hit there. I think he misses the ball. It's a poor touch. But Graham Smith, that ball that he played, the way that he hit that one on frame, he's been quiet all game, been a huge part of this buildup for North Carolina FC, and that was his way of reminding everybody that he may be more of a solid player that they can count on, but he can step up when the team needs it.
So here we go. 30 seconds remaining here in added time, and Charlotte on the ball. The Martinez brothers. Told you about them to start. Tambakis thought Enzo was offside, denied there by Graham Smith. Hard sliding tackle, one back here by Charlotte as they go for it here in the final 15. Alex Martinez will give it to George. George will get it back. We have played the 4 minutes. Will the referee give Charlotte one more opportunity? 4 minutes have expired, and that should do it here. Graham Smith. Will bomb it long, back to Brandon Miller. Referee looks at his watch. Referee with the whistle, and a tie here in this North Carolina derby. North Carolina FC 1, Charlotte Independence 1. That's your final score.
You see some frustrated faces on the side of North Carolina FC, and I think you see some Charlotte players that are happy that they got a result there. It was pretty even in terms of chances and kind of how the wave would go with momentum, but overall North Carolina FC had the better chances, had more of the opportunities. They just couldn't get them to fall. I think when we look at that final stat line, we're going to see a lot of shots for North Carolina FC, and a lot of which were on frame. To only have one goal, that's a bit of a frustrating finish for them. But good opportunities, good individual performances. Spees, Fortune, Smith, really good service on this right side with Miller getting forward, as well as Taylor. Just couldn't get it done tonight.
So updated standings, 31. North Carolina FC with that point will push ahead into third place. Tampa Bay and Indy first and second.
And with knowing that the night didn't exactly go how you wanted, you didn't get those full 3 points, but you still get an extra spot in the standings. Granted, we have to wait till this weekend to see how the other teams fall. Not a bad night for North Carolina FC, and they did what they had to do to at least get a point, and they remain undefeated at home.
Final score here, North Carolina FC 1, Charlotte Independence 1. We're not done on Fox 50 though. We'll come back, show you the highlights in this one, and show you some of the post-game fireworks. Happy 4th of July, everybody. A good one here, North Carolina Derby style. North Carolina FC 1, Charlotte Independence 1. We'll take a break, come back with more from WakeMed Soccer Park, Salem Stadium in Cary. Happy 4th of July to each and every one of you.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Maria, so how's work?
It was 4th period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bella and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.